Good morning. I'll wait for that disclaimer. Terrific. Good morning and welcome to today's presentation of the Chamber of Commerce's Not-for-Profit Committee. My name is Wendy Paff-Gennaro. I'm a committee member and I'm also the Director of Development at Queens Centers for Progress. We are a social services agency that provides support here in Queens for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The Chamber's Not-for-Profit Committee exists to educate the Queens business community about the development of not-for-profit organizations and to educate not-for-profits on issues that can affect our operations and to identify areas of growth to meet the needs of the Queens community. We were super excited when we found out about Borough President Donovan Richards' Nonprofit Opportunities Department. With so many nonprofits located here in Queens, it's great to have an additional entity that recognizes the social and financial impact that our nonprofits have on the Queens community. In addition to making resources available to our nonprofits, the newly formed department will serve as a space in which we can connect with others, as well as communicate our needs to the Borough President's office. So today we are delighted to have three incredibly special guests from the Borough President's office with us. We have Deputy Borough President Rhonda Binda, Director of Economic Development Shurn Anderson, and Susie Tanenbaum, the Director of the Nonprofit Opportunities. So before we get started, really quick, I'd like to go over the format for today's program. First, we'll hear our opening remarks from Deputy Borough President Binda, followed by a presentation by Susie and Shurn. And following their presentation, we will have two 10-minute breakout sessions before we return to the main room to wrap up. So thank you for joining us today, and I'm very pleased to welcome our wonderful Deputy Borough President, Rhonda Binda.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks also to Tom Greck and the Queens Chamber of Commerce for hosting this important webinar on nonprofit opportunities. Like you said, the title of this webinar is exactly the name that Borough President Donovan Richards gave to the new department at Queensborough Hall, the Department of Nonprofit Opportunities. And as we know, throughout the coronavirus pandemic, we are more aware than ever that nonprofits are so indispensable and they're partners in ensuring the safety and well-being of the community and residents, especially here, so important in Queens. And the partnership is not a new partnership that you've seen between nonprofits and government. It dates back to the 1960s and the civil rights era, where we realized that the local-based organizations were best at providing services directly to citizens and residents. And you started to see a flow of funding going from the public sector to the nonprofit sector. A partnership like this is so important, especially in Queens, because we know it's the community-based organizations that have the cultural competency and the language capacity, and especially throughout the COVID pandemic, providing so many resources to our essential workers, many of whom were new immigrants. And the range of services are completely outstanding of what nonprofits do. Everything from rental assistance to closing the digital divide, to providing food security, to providing vaccinations and mental health counseling. And as you know, Queensborough President's Office has had a great relationship with our community-based organizations for decades. Just this past year, fiscal year 21, he's allocated Borough President Richards funding to about 44 organizations all throughout the borough of Queens. And Borough President Donovan Richards knows how important this endeavor is because it's allowing us to do three things. One, of course, is to build a partnership. Second is to align better with the nonprofits and as we recover from the pandemic period. And also, we're realizing the vision of achieving equity and inclusion all throughout Queens because of these partnerships. And so I want to give a shout out to our nonprofit committee members and chairs, Marissa Idenosis from Investors Bank, thank you. Larry Grubler from Transitional Services of New York, Wendy Paff-Gennaro, Queens Center for Progress, Molly Doherty, American Cancer Society, Cher Sperano, One Group, Neil Fleischman, Payday Payroll, Garcher Lee, Glow Community Center, Jamie Croucher, Tigerman Schools, Michael Carnicella, Goodwill Industries, Goodwill Temps Division, Scott Thornhill, Alpha Point, Marilyn K. Tickton, Port, Judy Vladimir, Common Point, Queens, Kwesi Emoa, Recycle for Education. I love it when we're doing things in tandem with the Queens Chamber. Similar to our partnership with nonprofits, we have very strong partnerships with our business sector. And so, of course, I want to now turn this over to our amazing directors of both economic development and the new nonprofits opportunity division, Shurn Anderson and Susie Tanenbaum. They'll take you through how they work collaboratively between the nonprofits and their specific offices. Thank you very much to the Chamber and for everyone being here and all the great work you're doing to strengthen this partnership.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rhonda, for being here, Deputy Borough President. Thank you for your wonderful words. And now we'll turn it over to Shurn and to Susie.
Good morning, everyone. Susie will share her screen momentarily. I'm Shurn Anderson, Director of Economic Development. Thank you for the invitation to join you today. Susie and I and our Deputy Borough President, Rhonda Binda, are pleased to be here. Are you ready, Susie?
Yeah, I'm unmuting. Can everyone see this PowerPoint? Or would you like me to enlarge it? Let me just, here we go. Here we go. From the beginning. There we go.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Susie. So again, good morning, everyone. Good to see you all, and thank you for the invitation to join me today. The Borough President's Office has several policy areas that work closely with nonprofit organizations. These policy areas include our cultural affairs and tourism, economic development, education, health and human services, housing, immigrant affairs, nonprofit opportunities, planning and development, and our topographical bureau. In economic development, my team and I work with the Chamber of Commerce in a collaborative manner, supporting the education, networking, and advocacy work for businesses around policy and legislation to enhance the business environment. For example, we have a Queens Tech Council, which is focused on broadening and strengthening tech across the Borough of Queens. We are working with the Queens Chamber of Commerce to, we are working with the Queens Chamber of Commerce to focus our efforts on strengthening broadband and Wi-Fi for everyone's benefits and to make it known that Queens is open for business and to the tech community. We also provide business services, which connects businesses to resources and city services, whether that is to connect them with other nonprofits like the Queens Economic Development Corporation, New York City Business Solutions Centers, and helping them and to help them navigate our city services and our city departments of buildings, consumer affairs, or small business services. In recent months, the Borough President partnered with the New York City Economic Development Corporation to offer the Queens Small Business Grants Program, which offered up to $20,000 to small businesses and vendors in areas hard hit by COVID-19 pandemic and low to moderate income areas. Regarding business support, we provide consultation that helps developers understand the community, make suggestions as to what can or cannot work in a neighborhood. We might suggest that a project is not acceptable to a community. We might suggest or recommend community partners that a developer might speak with in a neighborhood to present their ideas on a project or initiative. Under workforce development, we support and enhance workforce development and work with nonprofit organizations to provide live in-person job fairs pre-COVID-19 and for profit companies in the instances when they are hiring in a large capacity. For example, when the new TWA hotel opened a couple of years ago, They were hiring 700 employees in all areas of the hotel industry. In that instance, even though they're a for-profit organization, we were able to work with them. As you know, nonprofit organizations provides many different services to help government meet the needs of the community. So we have trade organizations like the Council for Airport Opportunity, a nonprofit created to provide support to the airport companies and to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Workforce organizations like Common Point Queens and Workforce One that provides workforce development support to companies and individuals. And we have the nonprofit organization that provides human service support to families. Since COVID-19 pandemic, our office have welcomed mostly nonprofit organizations, including Queens Centers for Progress, on our monthly platform to recruit for open positions. On your screen right now, we have a virtual recruitment fair invitation flyer for this month's event. Our program has helped these organizations to connect with the community, and we offer them a broad visibility across the borough. Our next virtual recruitment fair happens to be this afternoon, June 17th at 2 p.m., and it runs from 2 to 3:30 p.m. This event will be live streamed on YouTube, or it's accessible at the Borough President's website for live streaming as well. Next, I'd just like to mention some resources that we make available or help to broaden the city's outreach. And we're announcing the New York City Economic Development Corporation's announcement on June 9th of an RFP for $500 million over the next 10 years for life science capital and research and development. Mayor de Blasio announced this initiative and this RFP on Wednesday, June 9th, that over the next decade, the city will invest this additional $500 million for a total of $1 billion to develop life science industry and launching new commitments as part of the Life Science New York City. Specifically, the new plan will invest an additional $200 million in city investment to support the construction of much needed commercial lab space and incubators, $300 million in city capital to support nonprofit facilities to spur new research that translates into companies, jobs, medicines, and advanced technologies, $5 million to enhance life sciences expansion fund to support early stage companies growing into wet lab space from universities or incubators, and $5 million to expand the Life Science New York City internship program to develop city's life sciences talent pipeline. This RFP includes projects in other sub-areas of life sciences beyond therapeutics, medicines, including medical devices, diagnostics, biomaterials, and research tools. This RFP will provide awards of up to $20 million each. Submissions are due on August 18th. And so that's right now in this RFP that I just mentioned is right now in circulation. In addition, the Empire State Development Corporation, as you can see from your screen, Governor Cuomo on May 11th launched round 11 of the Regional Economic Development Council initiative, which officially kicks off a new decade of economic development in the post-pandemic recovery. The 2021 funding cycle includes more than $750 million that is being made available for state economic development resources. The consolidated funding application pipeline opened on May 10th, enabling businesses, municipalities, and nonprofits and the public to begin applying for assistance from dozens of state programs for job creation and community development projects. Round 11 includes core capital and tax credit funding that will be combined with a wide range of existing agency programs totaling $750 million. In order to be responsive to the immediate needs of the development community, and as the state is making crucial investments to generate economic activity, the $150 million in grants fund from the Economic Development Corporation will be made available to projects on a continuous and competitive basis. So that means that many of you, nonprofit organizations out there, can apply to the state for some of these funding in order to, and you can put it to any aspect of your organization where the need exists. Some of these funding will be made available on an ongoing basis, and some of them will you will have to meet the deadline, which is Friday, July 30th at 4 p.m. and Friday, July 30th at 4 p.m. So the Borough President's Office, in collaboration with Greater Jamaica Development Corporation, the Long Island City Partnership, the the Queens Chamber of Commerce, will be sponsoring a July 8th CFA funding webinar. We'll be hosting it via Zoom. And you are all invited to join us for this webinar to learn more about how your organization can apply for funding through the state funding pipeline. Over 11 years ago, Governor Cuomo consolidated all the funding so that there is a streamlined process, and we're so fortunate that in this recovery that the state was still able to locate and identify funds to continue this program. So I encourage and invite all of you to join us on July 8th for this webinar, which will be presented by our regional director from the Empire State Development Corporation. Joseph Tazwell will be presenting, and in a few days' time we'll have our flyer invitation ready, and we'll be happy to share that with you. And so more information will be available in the coming days as well. Now I'd like to move on and welcome Susie Tanenbaum for the next segment of this presentation.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, Wendy, I apologize. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Shurn, for really creating a bridge between economic development, which is of primary interest to the Queens Chamber of Commerce, and nonprofit assistance. So good morning, everyone. As Shurn and Wendy said, I'm Susie Tanenbaum. I'm Borough President Donovan Richards, Director of Nonprofit Opportunities. I want to thank the Queens Chamber of Commerce very much for inviting me to participate this morning. In particular, thanks to the Not-for-Profit Committee. I do want to single out, first of all, the individual who coordinated today's webinar, Jeff Gross, who did a phenomenal job of bringing us together. Also, our moderator, Wendy Gennaro, who we have a long-standing partnership and friendship with at the Borough President's Office. And I would be remiss if I did not also give a shout out to the amazing Roz Nieves of Queens Public Television, who is with us this morning. So I wanted to begin really by giving you a little bit of background on us and on how the Borough President's Department of Nonprofit Opportunities came into existence. So first of all, my wonderful colleague Shurn Anderson and I have had the privilege of working at the Queens Borough President's Office for 19 years now. So next year we celebrate a milestone. And we both came to the office with the former late beloved Borough President, Helen Marshall. And Shurn had prior experience working in local government, and I came from the nonprofit sector. And Shurn and I go way back to our days of active involvement in the Corona, East Elmhurst, and Jackson Heights community. So until recently, my title at the Queens Borough President's Office was Director of Immigrant and Intercultural Affairs, and I coordinated 3 networks. The first network was the Immigration Task Force, which is a network of immigrant nonprofits and government agencies. The second network, which I continue to coordinate, is the Queens General Assembly. And this is an intercultural dialogue initiative that brings together stakeholders from around the borough. And the third network was the Queens Complete Count Committee, which was a network of community partners determined to ensure that Queens got counted in the 2020 census. So When Borough President Donovan Richards entered office, I said to him that I was interested in expanding my portfolio because during the pandemic, I saw our immigrant nonprofits in particular taking on additional responsibilities without hesitation. As our Deputy Borough President mentioned, they stepped up to distribute food boxes. They provided rental assistance to tenants who were at risk of eviction. Many of them even volunteered to serve as vaccine distribution centers. This was on top of their regular programs and services that they had migrated to virtual platforms. And this was also for many of them at a time when their traditional funding sources were dwindling. I'm sure a number of you can relate to this. So Borough President Richards listened. He was very supportive, and he decided that it was time for us to have a division in our office dedicated to focusing on these issues relevant to nonprofits across policy areas. And that's how Borough President Donovan Richards' Department of Nonprofit Opportunities came into existence earlier this year. I also want to give a shout out to someone else on this webinar, Gail Colin, who provided a model for this department when she served in the administration of the former late formidable Borough President, Claire Schulman. So very quickly, what does the Borough President's Office of Nonprofit Opportunities do? I am now turning to this PowerPoint. Our mission is to identify ways to better assist, support, and empower Queens nonprofits. This is truly a dialogue. We are looking to strengthen existing partnerships with nonprofits and find ways to partner in other ways with all of the nonprofits, either based in the borough or serving the borough. We have three main objectives. The first one is to serve as a clearinghouse of information and resources. The second is to become a convener of programs on topics of importance to nonprofits. And the third is to create a platform where we can network in similar ways to what I just described to you and the other networks that I have coordinated at the Borough President's Office. We want to facilitate information exchanges for our nonprofits. We want to promote relationship building and opportunities to collaborate on projects. And then we want to have a forum where nonprofit representatives can discuss issues relevant to their work and raise this to the awareness of the Borough President. So right now we are focused on the first objective, serving as a clearinghouse of information and resources. I am proud to report we have 85 member organizations to date. Now, how do you become a member? And what are you becoming a member of? Well, the mechanism we have created is the Borough President's Nonprofit Network. I'm actually going to go here. If you are a nonprofit based in Queens or serving the residents of Queens, you are eligible to apply for the Queens Borough President's Nonprofit Network. All you have to do is complete this Google application. You can find the application on the Nonprofit Opportunities page on the Borough President's website, or you can email me and I will be giving you my email address and I will send you the link. Once you complete this application, as long as you meet the simple criteria, you automatically become a part of the listserv. I'm going to try to go back. Every week, I send an email blast to the nonprofit network. We call these email blasts the resource room, and these emails feature upcoming webinars, grant opportunities, and announcements from our member organizations so they can raise awareness with each other about their programs and services. I also offered it to arrange introductory meetings with our nonprofit network members, and those are opportunities for us to talk about your community's needs and the kinds of support you would like to receive from our office. It's also an opportunity for me to learn about what your organization's mission is and how we can truly make this a partnership. Just a couple of deliverables. One of our nonprofit network members has already secured a grant through the Mayor's Safe in the City initiative, and two of our nonprofit network members have received office furniture and supplies through Materials for the Arts, thanks to a collaboration with our colleague, Phil Ballman, who is the Borough President's Director of Culture and Tourism. So last but not least, I'm very excited to tell you that our office now has a subscription to GuideStar Pro. And this is going to make it possible during our introductory meetings for me to help you to do a customized search for potential foundation support. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm looking forward to our breakout sessions momentarily. And I'd actually like to leave you with a question, which is how can the not-for-profit committee of the Queens Chamber of Commerce and Borough President Donovan Richards' Department of Nonprofit Opportunities work together and find synergies so we can really support and partner with our small businesses as well as our nonprofit organizations? Thanks very much.
Wonderful. Susie and Shurn, thank you guys so much for your wonderful presentations. And it's very exciting to see the support that we're getting as nonprofits in Queens. And I really applaud the work that you guys are doing. It's terrific. We're going to go into breakout rooms now. Jeff's going to be in charge of doing that. So I just ask everybody for your patience and just give us a minute to get us where we need to be, and we'll carry on in the breakout rooms. We'll have Shurn in one room, Susie in another room. We'll have about 10 minutes in each room, so you can ask questions to each of them individually that might pertain to your particular causes and nonprofits. And then we're going to swap rooms after that and then meet back here. So Jeff, take us away.
Yes, I want to be a part of the job fair, the Well Life Network. We're looking for employees, and I just wanted to know how I can get the flyer over to the Borough President's office.
Certainly, you can just send me an email and I will follow up with you offline, sanderson@queensbp.org.
sanderson@queensbp.org. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Staffing is such a big issue in our field right now, as in everywhere. It's not just our field, it's everybody, but it's very hard to hire right now. So I think we might have already talked about it in one of our prior webinars, but if not, it's certainly a big enough topic that it might be good to have a session about it and brainstorm a little bit. So I guess we can wrap up. I want to say a big thank you to Susie and Shurn for your amazing presentation, and to everyone who's here. A couple things, I was writing down some notes as I was listening, and the chamber and the power of the chamber is connecting to businesses in the community. And a lot of times as a nonprofit, we sell ourselves short. We don't look at ourselves as businesses, and we need to, because we are vital to the communities that we serve. I think on the Borough President's website, Susie, you had a statistic that said 15% of the Queens workforce are working for nonprofits. That's significant. And, I know in my organization, and Larry could probably also attest in his, that, we are contributors to the Queens community, and certainly to the business community, and to commerce, and to the, economics of Queens. So we're important, and we're a voice that needs to be heard. And also just all these wonderful opportunities that the Borough President's Office is making available to us. I look forward to future collaborations. I'm open and happy, and would love to share my information and talk to other nonprofits out there to see if there's a way we can work together. And, thank you all. I look forward to great things between us coming up. So I guess that would wrap up our webinar today.
Wendy, before we wrap, I would ask that everyone look in the chat box. Roz from QPTV has sent a message. that everyone can take a look at, please? And on behalf of Queens Chamber, thank you all for taking time out this morning to participate in our not-for-profit webinar. We look forward to you joining us in the fall for hopefully an in-person session as well.
Absolutely.
Susie, thank you so much. Shurn, thank you so much. Thank you to Deputy Borough President Rhonda for joining us. And Wendy, you did it. Outstanding job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you again for having us.
And thanks, to
Thanks,
the committee
everybody.
for
Hey,
the
I'm just finishing a Zoom.
great work that they do.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Good day,
Thank you,
everyone.
Sharon.
Have a great
Susie,
weekend and
everybody,
happy
Rhonda,
Father's Day
Steph.
to the daddies.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.